the bank has told me that even if I pay it off, they're still not going to let me use the line of credit anymore because now the business is going away. I was hoping that I'm going to pay the business, I was not hoping before the trial. My thing that I was telling myself after the trial was, okay, well, at least if I have to pay it all off, I'll figure it out somehow, even though the payments are astronomical. And they'll let me use that line of credit and credit card for my new business. No, they won't. So I'm literally starting a new business with no money. So I'm like selling my handbags and selling anything I have left. I have some Tory Burch stuff that I'm going to put online that I didn't give away or didn't sell a long time ago from the outlets. Okay. This piece is going to go with the crown. And I'm literally like selling, and I'm going to be very transparent with y'all because honestly, I don't want you to have to go through this too, but I'm selling like literally everything I own just to buy inventory for the new store. And I'm buying very, very small amounts of inventory. That's why I said if you come to the party, which I hope you do, let's see if I do it this way. Yeah, I got to do it this way. And I don't have your size there. It's because I'm literally buying like one pack of something and not even like a full pack of something. So you have to buy 6 pieces, but I'm buying like 1 small, 1 medium, 2 large, 2 extra large, or 1 small, no smalls, 1 medium, 1 large, 2 extra large, 2 2Xs. So I'll have stuff there that you can try on though, and really I hope to be able to sell a bunch of my jewelry because those are larger purchases and it'll allow me to buy more clothes. The jewelry I only have to have 1 piece as a sample. But it's okay. Really, I just tell you guys this stuff so that you don't get blindsided like I did. I had no idea that you could go to court and like provide false documents and nobody checks. And I had asked for a forensic accountant for years. And it was always like, no. Even the police were like, my first business attorney was like, I've never had a client need a forensic accountant more than you. And he just would not allow it. And I thought he wasn't allowing it because he was like, no, babe, we don't need that. We got it. It's fine. No, we did not got it. Also, if you're ever going through anything or having any kind of trust issues in your relationship and the other person does not want you to get a forensic accountant, get one. Because that's definitely, there's a reason why. And I just never thought in my life that the reason he didn't want me to have a forensic accountant was because he was misappropriating those funds. So, for the last year, 2021, he kept telling me, like, I don't want him to get a divorce. But, like, then one day he would be like, I'm filing papers. And I'm like, we didn't even get in a fight. What is this for? What did I do today? It don't make sense. You're not the same guy on Instagram, for sure. So on Instagram, he's, like, bringing me food during my live videos. And me and Vanessa are like, he literally just told you he wanted to divorce you an hour ago. I'm like, I know. But he would say it, like, right before I got on a video so that the whole time during the video, I'd either talk about it or I'd be like, I don't know what's going on. It is, it's not that it's not being investigated. It's that you have to have a lot of money to sue for things like that, and I have none. And I had to pay for all the stalker situation myself. Like, she was his witness at court. They both said they never handled the finances of my business. We all know that's not true. But I think the judge was more pissed off that I, like, talked about all this stuff on social media because they showed that stuff, and they made me look like a huge asshole. They, like, took any kind of post that I ever made where I sounded like a smart ass, when really, like, I have every right to sound like that. I've done everything I could for this man for literally 17 years, and I'm getting raked over the coals, and I don't understand why. Okay, so then I'm going to put this right on top of it. But to me, my main question, even to you guys, has always been like, you guys, I don't know why I'm getting divorced, though. What happened? Like, we didn't even get in a fight. I don't know why there's holes in my attic. Why would somebody be listening to me? What is there to hear? But I guess you need to hear. Why is somebody taking my phone and it's pinging at the deer lease? I don't understand. What is there to hear? But I guess what there is to hear is how much I'm figuring out. Because at the end, on November 8th, I have the video where I told him I'm going to hire professionals to figure this out. Which is funny because she quit the day I said I was getting a CPA. Like 11:34, I texted her and said I'm getting a CPA. Not because I was mad at her or anything. I didn't know anything at that point, for sure. I just said, I want a CPA who can tell me where all my money's going, because it's disappearing. And then she left at 12:02. And they asked her about it at court, and she said, I don't think I quit that day. I think I quit the next day. No, you quit that day. I have the text still. He didn't delete those out of my phone. I do believe he deleted the ones of her talking to me. But then he accidentally uploaded a bunch of text messages to our Google Drive. And that was the stuff that was like really hard. While I was supposed to be like rebuilding these business or rebuilding KLR that seemingly lost $1 million a year. The other big mistake too is my attorney asked me, how much money did you make in 2017? And I said $4.5 million. And then she said, how much money did you make this year? And I said 156 grand. And she was like, they were like, what's the reason? And I was like, well, one of the reasons is I don't have control of my social media pages. Like, they're all under his name. And the judge was like, so you mean to tell me you lost $4 million over a password? But no, number one. But number two, the question should have been, how much did you make in 2018? $1 million less. How much did you make in 2019? $1 million less. How much did you make in 2020? Another $1 million less. So if you're at 4 in 2017 and then 18.3, 19.2, 21, and 21 in 2020 you're at 1 million. In 2021, what do you think you're going to be at? That's why I ain't at shit now. So I don't know what to do. I just don't want to file for bankruptcy. Honestly, I think the bankruptcy thing is more because to me it's like lying, because we did have the money. He just got it all. It should have been paid out of our house fund. We just made $1 million. But like, he showed tax returns from 2020. He didn't file in 21. Why not? Because you took a loss for us for the first time. In 10 years, we didn't have a loss. And in 2020, suddenly, the year that he files taxes in 21, and suddenly, after I said all this time, like, why am I paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS every year? Like, most people, I guess they lie to the IRS by underpaying. I was overpaying. And when I was finally like, I'm going to get somebody to help me figure out why I'm overpaying, this doesn't make sense. He filed for divorce like 2 weeks later. So, and then he didn't file his taxes for 21, but then he filed by himself for 22. And you know what he didn't do for 22? File our capital gains. We have to pay capital gains tax because we made $1 million, over $1 million from selling our house. It's just really sad too, because I never wanted to sell that house. And if I would have known that I could have stayed in it this whole time, I could have kept working from there. And I do believe I still would have been able to make the money I needed to like pay. The mortgage was only a couple thousand more than what I paid for this little bitty house. So, oops, it's gonna be loud, sorry. So it just sucks because you're like, there's nothing you can do, and I don't have the money to sue civilly. And the whole time everybody was like telling me I needed to sue them for defamation and them for slander and them for all this stuff, but like, I didn't want money out of it. I thought there was a crime in all this somewhere, and I just didn't know what the crime was. We know what it is now. But still, all that stuff takes money, and I don't have any right now. So instead, I'm going to focus on rebuilding my business. Hopefully I can build it even a fraction of what I could before, so then I can afford to hire an attorney later on if I need to. Some other people have come out of the woodworks to try to... I don't want anything free from anyone. I just want to be able to... I just want justice. You know, you just want the truth. And like, I would have been okay with splitting everything 50-50 down the middle from that year. But now, apparently, if we amend our taxes, we'd get these huge returns, you know, refunds back from overpaying. But then, like... But then what if I have to file for bankruptcy for my business because I'm $450,000 in debt and I'm making $10,000 a month? That ain't gonna make sense. You know, like, I don't want to get in any trouble at all. So right now I'm not thinking about any of that. I'm thinking, let it be what it is. But I'm telling you, it was absolutely shocking to sit there and listen to him say stuff like, I'm schizophrenic. Like, I don't even know how schizophrenic people act, but I know the only two people talking to me in my head are me and Jesus, and it ain't more of me, it's just one of me. It's the one of me telling me don't believe the dumb shit. Okay, let's curl this one real fast too while it's off my head. See, so it has these creases from being in the package. So anyways, if you want to know how you can help, you can shop. That would be great. There's 30% off on the website right now with code starting over. Somebody said it didn't work earlier, so I need to check it. It had to work a little bit because some people used it. So I'll check today, but it should give you 30% off everything that's on the website, including the sale rings that are so freaking cheap. I have like one of a couple for size 6 or 7. And then I think I put the Melissa's, Kindles, Kelly's, and Kirsty's in there just because I have several of those. So you can use the discount on that too. And some of them are literally marked down to like 150 bucks. So with the discount, what is that? $105 for a moissanite ring? That's like wholesale. Okay. But I started gemology school, and I'm taking this AutoCAD class. It's rhinoceros. I don't know if, or rhino. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but basically it's like to design jewelry, because I really, really want to know every single thing about gems. I want to be an expert in it. I feel like I'm an expert at like clothing. I know a lot about fabrics and designing clothes and all that. But you'll know, whenever I had my store, the whole time I was like, I never wanted like a big boutique. I always wanted to like just take my pictures, show y'all, and I hate taking pictures, but I just wanted to show y'all my cute outfits, and if you want to buy it, you can buy it. I don't want there to be like 10 things for you to buy every day. Like, I would like it a lot better if I just showed you my outfit every day and you swiped up on it and grabbed it. Then you're spending like 40, 50 bucks a day instead of like hundreds of dollars at a time. But, and I now recognize that, like, I think I was kind of I can say this as humbly as possible. I acknowledge my value, which is something I've been working on in therapy. And I do realize that, like, not a lot of people were putting plus size models on camera or doing 2 models at once. Nobody was doing 2 models at once before I was. And so I appreciate that, like, that caught on, and that people are more inclusive in their sizing now. And I just hope that they genuinely give a shit about curvy girls and what they want and need, and aren't just looking at it from a cash cow perspective. But that's not, like my counselor said, that's not my battle to fight. I can only do what I can do. So right now I just have to focus on figuring out, like, I don't have parents to ask, you know? So my dad's dead, and I'm definitely not going to ask my bio mom any questions about friggin' finances. And so I don't have anybody to tell me, like, you should just file for bankruptcy, Becca, because it's never going to get any better. And then I'm like starting a whole other business. So I just want to do the right thing and like pay the money as much as I can, even though I know they're never going to let me use the damn line of credit again. It sucks so bad. It's just very like back and forth in my head. I wish somebody would just tell me, like, hey, I'm an accountant, this is what you should do. I don't know anybody like that. It's like every time you ask, if you go talk to a bankruptcy attorney, they want you to file for bankruptcy so they can get money out of it. But I don't want to do that. In my head, I tell myself, like, no, you can make it again. But then also in my head, there's that little voice that had to read how many times they said stuff like, I just got lucky in the boutique industry and blah, blah, blah. And you think, fuck, is that all it is? But then, no. So that's part of why I started gemology school, because I really, really I feel like you guys latch on more to things I'm passionate about than just stuff I'm selling, you know? Because I've been super transparent with y'all for so long. So I'm hoping, like, learning about the different grade. If you've never watched the movie, what's it called? It's called Nothing Lasts Forever. Just watch the first 10 minutes. Download it on Audible or something. Just watch the first 10 minutes. It's so good. It tells you why you should never buy diamonds, and why, like, it's so hard to tell the difference between diamonds and moissanite now. And lab diamonds and diamonds, there's literally no point in buying an actual diamond, especially if you think you're going to get a lab diamond. Because how would you know that it did not come out of a mine? You wouldn't. Like, it even says in that video. Like, it's almost impossible for someone to tell that it is a lab diamond instead of a mined diamond. And lab diamonds are way cheaper. All diamonds are going to be really cheaper now. A lot cheaper now. Okay, is this the big one? Yeah, let me curl. Oh, this one's kind of curled. Okay, so let me do right above. Didn't I have another 2E? Yep, here we go. Oh, good, it's already curled. Hold on. So I just want to get back to work, and really the biggest, like, joy of my life would be able to, my kids the joy of my life, but the biggest accomplishment, I think, is if I could even turn this into something that, like, actually pays my bills. Like, I had to freaking sell my car just to make the credit card and line of credit payments. That, oh my God, that was a whole nother issue. The Camaro that I bought from his aunt, number 1, they rolled back the miles. Number 2, it was not an SS Camaro, an RSSS. It wasn't at all. It's just a plain Camaro, which must have been why he was so indignant that I buy that Camaro. That Camaro was bought from her Nashville dealership and somehow was brought to her Dallas dealership, and the mileage went from 83,000 to 87,000, I think. I might be a little off, but it's in the 80,000s. 80-something thousand down to 1,300 miles. I bought it with 1,300 miles. There's no mention of a rebuild. I can say that now because I've screen recorded her website where she has both cars, the sales listed. So like literally the information was right there. I went to Gateway Classic Cars in Grapevine, and they were able to, in 5 minutes, like pull up all this information. They were like, ma'am, that's not an SS or an RS. That's not an RS SS Camaro. That is a regular Camaro. It's not worth, I think he told the court it was worth 72. They said it was worth 34. And they were like, you could sell it as a tribute, which means you're selling it to somebody acknowledging that it's not really an SS, but that the decals, like even the description on it says that the decals are still in their factory position. There's no factory position because it was never put on in the factory because it's never been an RSSS. So that's a whole nother thing. There's a bunch of lawyers who like to take those kind of cases though. But again, that's like another headache I just don't want to deal with right now. I just want to focus on my businesses. So I sold my car. The only things I got in the divorce were my car and my my business. But like I said, Kikilaroo is like defunct. There's hardly no email subscribers anymore, and I don't know where they disappeared to. The text message program, all the people disappeared off that too. And I remember too, when I found a bunch of the email subscribers, I remember thinking like, I sat here for 13 hours and exported all these orders in the system to manually pull out the emails because I knew there's no reason I should have 21,000 email subscribers when I had something like 80-something thousand at one time. And I don't even remember the largest number I had. I just remember seeing it at 80. So when you see it at 21, you're like, that something ain't right. But I remember like sitting on the couch. It was when we used to watch Yellowstone together. And I sat on the couch and I told him like, oh my God, I literally sat here all night long and I did nothing but sit here and go through every single order and pull out as old. I think I could only get orders back to like 2016 because that's all Shopify had. And I told him like was able to get the email list back up to like 80,000 from 21. And I remember thinking like, why isn't he excited? Like, wouldn't you be so excited or proud of me or something? Like, I just literally found us 60,000 more customers to email. And he just wasn't, he didn't care. But it makes sense now, especially if he had something to do with why there was not all the email subscribers there should be. So, I don't know. It's just a lot of it's a lot to, there's so many layers to it, it's just gross. And then on top of that, with the defamation suit from her, and the cops and attorneys telling me the whole time I should be the one suing her, and then she sues me and I have a super shitty attorney who does not present a single post on the internet. Like, if I'm in trouble for saying that she said all these things about me on the internet, you should at least bring one of them up. And like, now she brags about how my attorney didn't bring up a single thing against her, like didn't present a single piece of evidence. You're right, they didn't. They literally did nothing. He called me the wrong name during the trial. And then they didn't show the police video where my other employee went with me to tell the police that she specifically told her those things that are on that blog, and she never would have told her those things if she knew she was going to be repeating them on the blog. And the cop was like, you already said you read the blog every day, so how did you not know that the things you were telling her were the things that were on the blog? Like, that doesn't make any sense. But I never got to show the police video either. Yeah, Allie. But I did get, I mean, I think I have like, after all said and done, and I did like a email cleanup and deleted people who hadn't ordered in like 5 years, and I think it's down to like 60-something thousand, but that's still a lot to me. So I at least have a little bit of email subscribers. And then my text subscriber list, like, it was crazy too, because like I was losing all these Instagram followers on my Shop Kikilaroo page, but not on my personal page. And they were telling me, she was telling me that it was probably because of my Trump posts. I wasn't posting about Trump on my store page. And also, if you're going to get that kind of drop and follow, like 7,000 followers dropped, why wouldn't you be getting hate comments on your posts? And so when I brought that up, suddenly like the next day, I would get like a really shitty comment. Hold on, if this is going to be at the top, let me put down some more hair. I would get like a shitty comment on Instagram or on Facebook. And then like, that's just not normal. I even had a social media company like do an audit on my social media, and they're like, there's no way you have this much stuff written about you on the internet and this is what your comments look like. They were like, do you filter any of your comments? I was like, nope, nothing. I don't delete anything. I don't filter anything. I just leave it there. The only time I delete stuff is if like y'all start defending me and I just don't, oh yeah, this is really thin. But if they're cheap, I'll post them because they are okay. They just aren't curling too well. If they're cheap, I'll post them and it might be okay to buy, but they are like really thin. They're going to work for just taking outfit pictures in the front room and running a couple errands. So anyways, but the layers to this stuff is because once, like I was at 4.5 million. So I was at 2.1 or something the first year, 2.6 the second year, 3 point something the third year, 4.4 in 2017. And then in 2018, when he took over the money and then she started getting involved because she came and like worked for free, even though I didn't need her to, she officially came on board in 2019, but she was like helping in 2018. So God only knows what they were discussing. If you saw the shit they were discussing later on, you'd be so grossed out. So, but I wish the judge would have said like, you know, how much did you make every single year after? So she would have saw it was like $1 million a year decline. Instead, she just thought that I went from 4 million to 100,000. And I'm sure that looks like I'm doing it on purpose, but guys, I had my lights turned off. I had $34 in the bank. I've had my water turned off twice. Like I wasn't doing it on purpose. But one thing I was not going to do was spend the child support money. So he had told my son that the child support money was specifically for his car note. Because my son was like, are you really not going to help mom? Like, you don't help her with anything. Can you please just help her buy me a car? And he was like, evidently she's lying to you about what child support's for because it's specifically for transportation costs and car payments. So ask her what she's doing with all that money I send her. All that money, shit. Literally, I bought 3 sets of braces and I can't even get my hand surgery. So I made a deal with him that if he made great grades during all this and he didn't get in any infractions at school, did not get any kind of trouble for anything, I would buy him his dream car, which is what I was going to do at when we were all living together. Like, he was going to get whatever car he wanted, and I don't want his life to change because our lives are having to change. Although I understand that it would be understandable. But I knew, like, if I just get back to work, I can fix this without it affecting him. And he, like, knocked it out of the park. Like, he got freaking almost perfect scores on his PSATs. He got almost perfect scores on his pre-ACTs. He got into all kinds of clubs. He's the vice president of the pre-med club and he's on the PSAT prep team. So like he's excelling during this time when he's also having to go see a counselor constantly because his dad's telling him he's going to disown him if he freaking pierces his ears. So anyways, I saved every single dollar from child support. I was not going to talk about this shit. I saved every single dollar from child support, literally every penny. Even though him and his little goonies like to talk about, I know she probably spent all that money. No, I didn't. And then I went to the car dealership, and this is the God thing too. I went to the car dealership, and I had an 800 credit score. I have a 478 right now. But I had an 800 credit score, and they were like, you don't even have to put any money down. You can finance the car. And so I was like, oh my God, I have all this cash sitting in this account to put down on his car. And then basically I was going to use whatever money was left from child support to pay his car note. As long as I told my son, you can get whatever car will be under the child support amount plus insurance. And we have to have gap insurance too. So he picked out a car, built it from scratch, did all this research. And when we went to the dealership, they were like, you don't have to pay anything down. So they let me finance it. So that means he has that big old cushion, which was crazy because now my credit score is absolute shit. And literally the worst it's ever been in my adult life, ever. And because my business debt was like behind, which also sucks because the bank had offered us like deferrals where we could defer these massive line of credit payments. If, you know what else I realized too after all this? Like when we got in the worst fights, it was whenever I used our money to pay off my line of credit. But like our money, my line of credit paid for us to go to Africa. It bought the land that my house was on. Like it paid for Old Henry Threads. It paid for the coffee shop. It paid for the Kiki LaRue storefront. So anytime we ever came into like a large sum of money, like after Box Day or after, like I made $156,000 in one day on Box Day in November in the $150 Box Day. So I paid off my credit card, paid off my line of credit. Well then the last year that we were married and living together in 2021, he was like taking money out of my line of credit, paying me a salary, putting that in our joint bank account, and then using it on this credit card, 2 credit cards that he would cut us off from. So me and Wilby would go out of town. We would have no way to pay for anything while we were gone. Like literally a stranger had to pay for our bags. We went to Vineyard Vines and got declined. We went to Olive Garden and got declined. And then finally Christmas of 21, I called Chase and they were like, ma'am, we can't give you information. And I told them all about what's going on. I'm like, sir, I promise the accounts, the money it's coming from is mine. Like, please just tell me what to do. I even provided videos of me saying to him 50 times on the videos, like, I don't have access to those cards, so you better stop taking money out of my bank. I mean, like $25,000 payment on the card and then running it up $28,000. And I wouldn't even know about it. And I'm just like, what in the fuck? Because I didn't log into the bank for months. Because you trust them. And that was not including my $7,000 mortgage. No. Or my taxes, which were $1 million over what they should have been. My house appraisal. Like my tax assessor thought my house was worth 2.7. We only paid 1.6. So my question to him, who handled our finances, was like, why didn't you dispute that? Like, are you nuts? That's crazy. Like, go show them our contract. We shouldn't be paying taxes on 2.7. But you would want it to appraise at 2.7 tax value if what? If you were planning on selling it. And the whole time in 2021, I was like, it looks like you're, like, why do you keep getting appraisals on our house? And like, not just tax appraisal. I mean, like, actual person coming out and appraising it. Like, this doesn't make sense. And he's like, oh, it's a great idea, babe. Like, imagine they're going to tell us it's $1 million over, blah, blah, blah. And you're just like, who cares? We're not leaving until 2025. Like, you know, we were going to move to Africa. He was going to hunt full time. I was going to work with charity water. Sorry, it's hard to, like, talk about. But I need to curl this one backwards. So anyways, for that whole year after my dad died, God, I don't even want to talk about that situation. Holy shit. After my dad died, on Instagram, he's like giving me that ring and acting like he loves me so much. But in real life, like, he's sleeping upstairs for the entire year. And I have no idea why. Every time I'd post that my kid was sleeping in my bed, y'all would be like, oh, that's so cute. I'm like, my kid's in my bed because he doesn't want to be anywhere near the other end of the house. And there's nobody else in my bed. But I couldn't say all that. And more than anything, my struggle was me telling him, like, you have to tell me how you're not involved, because there's no way. Like, even on the video, he's like, well, I mean, the stuff in the beginning was definitely her and Bub, but I mean, Bub's been gone a long time and she hasn't been here, so it's got to be someone else. Like, wait till you hear that video. It's so gross. Because I'm like, oh yeah, it's got to be someone else. Exactly. So you have to tell me how it's not you, because I'm not writing this shit about myself on the internet. And it's shit that no one would know unless they're in my house. So, anyways, my worst fears came true. I had to end up selling my house, which I didn't know at the time that I really didn't have to sell it. If I wanted to stay in it, I could have. But I did not want to give him Wi-Fi access, because I knew that's the only way he could hack into our cameras was if he had Wi-Fi. And the attorneys were like, just give him Wi-Fi. And I'm like, y'all don't understand. He has Ethernet. He doesn't need Ethernet. I mean, doesn't need Wi-Fi if he has Ethernet. And like these little memes that come out, they talk about like the Ethernet cord and stuff. Like, you wouldn't know that stuff. I didn't tell y'all about the Ethernet cords. How would you know? So it's just gross to think about, like, God, I don't know. Like, how much of it was you versus her? I don't know. Guess we'll figure it out eventually. So, or we won't, and I'll just move on and probably never get married again, because how do you trust somebody when you literally, like, did everything for someone and they still did this? And I think, like, figuring out how long it was all going on behind my back, it was years. At least 2017, if not before then. By the things that he's done lately, I think it's 2016. But it's just gross, because you're like, how did you pretend for so long? Like, just go if you want to go, you know? I told him in 2017 when I bought the land, we didn't even live together. And I was like, you don't have to build this house with me. But I'm building this house, so if you want out, just go. And he's like, no, I want to be a better person. I want to stop drinking and driving. I want to stop drinking. I'm going to stop doing all this stuff. And it was double hard, too, because my dad did not want to leave that Roanoke house for my apartment. So I just told you guys, like, it's just a space where I can get away. But, like, everybody really knew, like, he's acting dumb. He's driving drunk with my kid. Like, he's just not being an adult. So I left. And then I moved back in after we bought the land. After I bought the land. And then in 2020, I sold my Roanoke house. And I remember September 28th, 2020, we got in a massive fight. And I mean, it was so bad. That's when he started hitting me with his hat. And it's another reason he didn't want my kid to go to court, because my kid would have told him on him for that. But I don't even think she would have cared at that point. She was not a fan of me. Because he made it sound like all I do is talk about drama on my page and that y'all only come here for drama. And I'm like thinking, that is literally what kept me from working for 2 years. Like, I don't want to talk about this. I just wanted to say it once and get it over with from beginning to end. And then it's like off my chest. Literally, when I announced the names of the businesses yesterday, I told one of my friends one of my customers, Hannah, who messaged me on the inbox to the store, she was like, I just watched a really long video. And I'm like, I'm sorry it was so long, but honestly, like, it feels like such a weight has lifted from my shoulders just from being able to say the names out loud. Because for so long, like, I had to hide it and I couldn't say anything. The only reason I bought the LLC like a year ago for one of the businesses was because they said they were going to go buy the LLC. And I got it first. And like, that's sick shit. And then that's the person that's like your witness in our divorce. Your only witness is the person who literally just said, who purchased my name as a website, like, and my Instagram names and my beauty company name. Like, I can't even start Busy Becca Beauty now because 5 hours after I said it, she had already purchased the website. So I had to make sure I had like everything, had all the social media sites. I couldn't even get Busy Becca's Closet because somehow somebody miraculously got that. So I have Busy Becca's .closet, which hopefully that still leads people. Thank God some of y'all are going to follow that account. I appreciate that so much too. Like, it's so humbling. I woke up this morning and there was like, I don't know, like 1,000 followers or something. And I'm like, I didn't even know 1,000 followers like really cared. And they're like following an account that don't even have a post. Like, it's so, and that's the stuff that really burns her up, I think, because she created all her sites and nobody follows that shit. Because if you do, you're either somebody who doesn't have access to me anymore, so you talk shit about me with her, which I really do not care. I promise you. Even my counselor said, like, this is the best job for you because you truly do not give a shit what anybody thinks about you on the internet. And I'm like, yeah, because people are fucking nice. But also, if you say ugly things, like, that says more about you than me. So what? I can't get upset about that. I know it's not true. And that was the thing. Look, I burned my bangs off yesterday, so they're short now. Sorry, I'm not answering y'all's questions. Anyways, I'm rambling because I'm trying to hurry up with my hair. So, yeah, that's a sprinkle of it, honestly. There's so much more. But really, it was just like, it took a huge mental toll on me because my dad was dying and died during all this. Lee Beth died during all this. And when you're sitting on the couch with your husband and he's telling the therapist that Lee Beth dying is the closest person to you that's ever died, like, he's acknowledging that that person was super, super close to me. So, number one, when you're reading online that, like, this troll is saying y'all aren't even friends, even though that troll is the same person who only knew stuff that was happening in your house that nobody else would know unless they had, like, cameras in your house. And so you're thinking, like, there's no way the same person who just sat on my counselor's couch and said, like, she's the closest person to me in my life who's ever died. Like, even Bub's mom, he didn't say that about. And that was, like, my favorite aunt. That's the reason I let Bub come live with me. Because I needed someone I knew she would want me to take care of her son, even though he's fucking grown. But I knew he was, like, bad at his core. And when he started threatening my kid, that's when he had to go. And that's another reason that Whoopi and his dad don't get along. Because Bub has definitely threatened Whoopi in front of so many people. Like, he's threatened to kill a bunch of people. Namely my son several times. And so Whoopi obviously does not like that they still have a relationship. And we all think it's weird because you said he just disappeared from our house and you didn't know where he went. But he definitely texted you and asked you if you wanted to go play Topgolf. And left every single belonging he's ever owned behind at our house. And didn't say a word. So that doesn't make sense unless he knew those things were safe. So, like I said, there's lots of layers of all this. But at the end of the day, I'm safe. We'll be safe. He definitely can't be doing anything in this house because there's fucking cameras everywhere. There's not even so many cameras here as there is people monitoring my stuff constantly. Like, I have a internet security team that monitors my web traffic. Like, they literally can tell me if my if my Wi-Fi slows down, they'll know why immediately. But I don't have to read any of the bad shit on the blogs anymore. Like, I don't have to deal with any of that now. So I'm very thankful for them. And you know how I found them? Y'all tagging me in their stuff. And I guess this had happened to somebody else, but not on as big of a scale. I think what makes it a big scale for me is that I lost my home, and all of it happened on the internet in front of everybody, you know? I think that would be embarrassing for a normal person, but like, I'm not embarrassed because I'm the person it happened to. But also my story has never changed a bit, and that's why the police were always like, you have to sue them because your story has literally never changed ever, and I don't have any papers in front of me. I'm literally wearing half a dress and a cat dress. So, no, I'm not gonna, I don't know about the Busy Becca's Closet app. It's connected to the Kiki LaRue store. I may have to use Comment Sold, honestly, because I really want to do live videos again, and there's just nothing else right now. Like, I wanted to use this program called Switcher. It was too damn hard to figure out. Look, I'm just gonna keep on. I need to wash these, and I think after I wash them, if I wash them and they curl better, I will suggest y'all buy them if they're cheap. If not, no, we're not doing it because they don't curl for shit. But a lot of times that happens if they're like super new and have not been washed. So anyways, but I'm not embarrassed by all this stuff. To me, it's a lesson to other people. Number one, show up with your own shit at court because you never know. Another thing with us is we didn't exchange exhibits until the day before trial. So I had no idea. And not only that, my exhibits wouldn't open. So I had no idea the tax return that was going to be presented. Also, as far as I'm concerned, there's only one. And if you're fighting me for the refund of the tax return, then that should tell you that looking up on the screen when you see a tax return with a whole bunch of assets, that would mean that I would have had to pay. So if the person is fighting you for the refund that you got back, that means you probably didn't have a whole lot of assets. You probably filed, like obviously you filed a loss, which was crazy to me because I'd asked for years, how come we aren't filing a loss if I'm losing $1 million a year? And I was okay with like, I think he had me convinced that like I needed to be losing $1 million a year because my paycheck was the same at 2.1 as it was at 4.4. So to me, or 2.6 maybe, as 4.4. So to me, I was like doing the same amount of work and not getting a bigger paycheck, or I was doing twice the work and not getting a bigger paycheck. But also it was like, I didn't want to have to work that much. Like my job has always been figure out how much your bills are and how much you want to take home, and then I control that amount of money. Basically, like, I stop posting shit when I hit my sales goal, you know? Like, you don't, it's kind of hard to explain if you aren't in this business, but basically, like, you don't have to work. Like, now I have to work because now I'm starting completely over. I literally talk about clothes on my private Instagram, not my public Instagram anymore, which is why I have Busy Becca's Closet now. I'm going to post personal shit here and probably clothes too, but mostly clothes over there. And so it was like I would have been able to stop working a long time ago, go to chemo with my dad, that kind of stuff. And then I really figured out who I was dealing with during the deposition because like my attorney said stuff like, did she ever tell you she wanted to go to chemo with her dad? And he was like, yeah, all the time. Sorry if you just saw my boobs. And he like admits that I asked 1 million times to go to chemo with my dad. So it's like you're watching this person that you love for 17 years, like acknowledge the fact that they knew you weren't able to do the things that you wanted to do with your dad. And like they weren't doing anything to fix it. And then she goes, well, what did you do to fix that? Because at one point he said it was my choice to pack orders all night at the warehouse, so he shouldn't have to help me. Because they were like, what, how many times have you helped her? And he was like, I don't know, like 4 or 5, which is absolutely a lie. Anytime you ever helped me at the warehouse, y'all saw, and those are the only orders. Whatever you saw on the TV or the video right then, that's what it was. So, but I didn't care because, like, to me, I loved taking care of him. Like, I genuinely loved doing everything. Because in my head, I thought, like, he's proud of me. And then you think back, you're like, well, he didn't say that too much, did he? Nope. And all your little love notes and cards, what did it always say? You're so pretty. You're such a good mom. But it never said, oh, please don't let my titties fall out. It never said, like, well, it did say I was a hard worker. But honestly, you don't even know how much of that stuff is really the truth after everything. After you literally sit there and listen to the person tell the court that you're a schizophrenic person. Like, I'm not a schizophrenic person. I caught you. There's a difference. So, but now I've learned through counseling that, like, every single thing they say is not true, which is a very hard pill to swallow when you literally believe oh my God, my friends will tell you too. Until 2020, I would have believed every freaking word he said. He could tell me the sky is black right now and it would be bright blue, and I'd be like, oh, I must be seeing it wrong. Like, but then like also seeing them like gaslight your child, then you're like, oh wow, they really, I'm telling you, and please do feel bad for people who are in relationships like this where it looks like to you their friend on the outside. Just keep telling them though. Please God, keep telling them. Because when you're in the situation, it doesn't matter who or how many. For me, it was my kid. When my kid finally told me, I was like, I gotta go. But whenever my friends were like, Becca, you have to wake up. Like, this is not normal. It's not just that he doesn't care about the lawsuit, which is very fucking much red flag. It's like that he doesn't care about anything. Like, he won't help you do anything. He gets mad at you for no reason. This money's disappearing. You're like in one of the videos, literally November 8th, 2021, he says 3 times in the video that my Yerman, Gucci, and Tori's missing. And there's $88,000 missing from my safe. Not one time. He's like, yeah, we got to find that. You worked really hard for it. But then at court, it was like, nope, she took it all. Like, I didn't take it. I made it. So honestly, I think it's a God thing. And I'm glad that I heard him like actually say lies to my face, because otherwise, honestly, like, I loved him so much, I would have just believed it. Like, we had our rough times in 2017 and all that, but I think that he just, I don't know. He also, like, got really mad in 2017 that, like, I didn't know at the time that he got really mad that I moved away, or that I moved out, because he had a key. But, like, he moved in with somebody else over almost a year ago, and like, it's okay that he does it. But then you learn through therapy that like, it's okay if they do things, it's not okay if you do, which is kind of indicative of his family. Like, it would be okay if their family went through this stuff, but like, if anybody else's family cheated on each other, like with his sister and her husband and stuff, like if anybody else had done that outside of their family, they were horrible people. But like, if it happened in their relationship, it was like, well, they're gonna work it out, whatever it is, you know. So, and I did notice that a long time ago. The lady that sold me the car, I had said before to his family, like, I saw something and I don't think that was what's supposed to happen. And they were like, no, you didn't see that. And you're like, yes, I did. 100% did. And then she ended up getting divorced. And that's how that went. So, it is what it is. Time to move on and hope that I can bust my ass. And now, I mean, it's nicer too, because like, I can decide how much money I have to make every month. And then like, even that's a very high number for me to get to right now. It's just not possible, but I'm going to try my ass off for sure. But like, if I am able to turn this around, which honestly I'm so nervous about, but I think it'll be okay. I'm more nervous about like what they're going to do to run it, but hopefully we have professionals in place that can stop all that now. And now people are really watching to see if they do anything, so hopefully they don't. We'll see. Do you hear these kids upstairs? Oh God, look. I got freaking hair powder on my forehead. Okay, I gotta go take some pics and wash my dirty fingernails. Hi guys. Oh, sorry I didn't see any of these. I'm not worried about a person for me, girl. That's like the last thing I want. It's crazy too, because you get through, like, you get to the stage where I am, and I remember thinking, like, hearing my girlfriend say, like, I don't want to date anybody right now, and I'd be like, why not? And now I'm at that stage, and I'm like, I get it. Like, I'm not. I have no interest in any. My brain is so occupied with trying to rebuild. Luckily, I have had, between you guys and like employees since then, like people who have just shown up, like Brittany and Amanda and my girlfriends, like helping me out with like storage stuff, like Jade and Karina and all these old employees that I had that came back to just try to help me like get rid of stuff. Like Kendall, she was always willing to like help me with the pop-up shop or whatever when I literally didn't have a pot to piss in, and I still don't. But like, and I get it, because the other day, like, I messaged her and I'm like, hey, what can I do? What can I help you do? Do you want to come get some of these decorations? Like, will they help your business? And I sat there and thought, like, I need to remember that this is why people are kind to me, because I'm kind to them too. And because, like, I literally will do anything to help anybody. And then as I was selling all my stuff to all these boutique owners, they're like, man, you really will tell anybody, like, boutique secrets. And I'm like, hell yeah, because there's enough room for all of us. But also, if I can keep you from making a mistake that I made, that's a win for me. So, like, if you end up successful and I told you all the things I did wrong and you don't do them and then you end up successful, I'm not jealous of you, honey. I'm proud of you. Like, I feel like that's a win to me. I don't know if that's selfish or not, but to me, it's like, that's freaking awesome. So, I don't know. It'll just make me feel so good. Not monetarily at all, but if I can turn all this shit around and turn it into something, God, I'll be so thankful. I will. I don't really know what I would do otherwise. I guess I could go back to, I could always be my teacher said I could be a jewelry appraiser when all this is over. But, like, I don't want to do that. This is my pretty dress. This dress is expensive wholesale. That's why it's so expensive. Oh, it has pockets, too. That's why it's so expensive for y'all to buy online. But you can use the code. I think it's online right now, too, on the Kiki LaRue website. So use that 30% off code for sure. Don't know what it's called. Muse. M-U-S-E. Look that up. Actually, at 30% off, I think you're getting it at my cost. It's, like, stupid expensive. But just get it. It's definitely worth it. It's beautiful. It's very it's like a thick, heavy-weighted fabric. Very, very pretty from the side. Makes your boobs look real good. So, anyways, I meant to just get on here and... Oh, shoot. Perfect timing. Hi, Pumpkin.
Hello.
What are you doing? What are y'all doing up there?
Oh, well, Jackson's gone now, but he was here.
Trejo and Kyle still here?
No, Trejo left a while ago.
Oh.
Yes, I fly.
Is Kyle here? Oh, yeah, he did tell me he had to fly today.
Yeah.
Is Kyle here?
Yeah. We're going to go run to, what's it called? The gas station.
Which gas station?
I don't know. He just said, I want to go get a piece of tea.
Oh, okay.
So.
Well, do you want me to order you spirals? Like single subject spirals off Amazon?
Yeah.
Okay. How many do you need?
Or, if you want, the big one that you gave me,
Uh-huh.
the multi-section, I don't mind that.
Okay.
Because I usually just write every note in one thing.
And that one has little pockets in each section, too. You want to just rip out the pages where I wrote? Or do you want me to get you... Son?
Did you write a lot?
I don't know if I wrote a lot. You had the thing all day long. You could look in it.
Yeah,
Did you make any notes today at school?
We don't make notes on the first day of school.
Well, y'all were only at school for a couple hours.
Yeah? Okay. Okay.
Which guy... Hey, if y'all go to Buc-ee's, will you tell me?
Yeah.
Okay, because I want... Bring me a gallon of tea home from Chick-fil-A. Do you know my tea is only $6.50 from Chick-fil-A? It's $5 for Gold Peak tea at Walmart. I always thought it was like $8 or something. I felt bad. But anyways, okay, my phone's about to die. Sorry I didn't answer your messages. It's okay about the Camaro. The thing that pisses me off the most about the Camaro is I sold my damn car to make these credit card payments for my business. And, like, my business still may be stuck doing nothing. And I don't know how all that works. So if you're a bankruptcy attorney or any kind of business attorney and you can give me some unsolicited advice, I will take it. Please just tell me. I'll be very transparent with you. I just want to make sure that I always do the right thing and I'm extremely honest and I don't want to ever get in trouble. The end. No. Ben does not have to pay me a single dollar. Are you kidding? He literally got my whole ass 401k. Another thing is, too, like, if you're with somebody for 17 years and you know they're struggling, you know their business is in the gutter, you know the judges gave you all this extra shit, there's nothing that happened between y'all to cause all this bad stuff. Like, and you just got $250 in cash right now, plus you're getting a bunch more cash, plus my 401k. Like, why would you go after my 401k right now? Like, why not just, like, you know, I don't know. There's no, like, decency in all this. And, like, if there's not, then what happened? What's wrong that's making you do this? You know? But I just can't think like that. I just gotta take my pictures, post my selfies, and pray my people shop. Can you point me to the info that tells you how in the world oh, shit. Provide tax returns that say your business is worth $1.6 million right now instead of $4,000 in assets, and that includes packing tables. I will update the bios. That's a good idea. I still own Kiki LaRue, yes. I did max out his other 401k too, yes. And he claimed half of it. He claimed a large portion of it as a separate property. If I would have known that, I would have never let him split it between two places. And then that $50,000 check that he wrote us in February of 2021, right before my dad died, that I was like, what the fuck? Why are you giving us this huge check? He put, of his $10,000 check that he should not even wrote himself, he put $4,500 of it in his 401k. That's odd. Who puts that much of one paycheck in a 401k? Yeah. What do I get to keep? My business and my car. And I sold my car and my business is bankrupt. So I'm literally starting over at negative $450,000 plus all of my personal debt. But don't feel sorry for me because I'm going to fix this shit. I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to fix this shit. And then one day I'm going to tell my story and somebody out there is going to have their own business, and they're going to go, you know what? I remember that girl with the long weave and the fake lashes who loves Instagram filters, and I remember she told me that I need to start my LLC before I get married. Or I remember she told me that if I have questions, I need to not stop at, I still don't know the answer. And for the love of God, you guys, figure out, like, even if his attorney goes, so you're a $1 million CEO and you don't know how to make a P&L, doesn't the buck stop with you? And I was like, doesn't the buck stop with the person I'm paying to make sure that those P&Ls are correct? Like, the page 3 and 4 did not have my signature. It was not, like, I'll show y'all. Like, it's definitely his handwriting. But it didn't matter. Oh, I was pissed at my lawyer too. No, I did not sell my Escalade. I sold my, and then he put on the paperwork that my car was a 2022. It's a fucking 2020. It's worth 54 grand. It's wrecked, and it's wrecked three times, and I owe 70 grand on it. So it's not a 2022. It's a 2020. He said I had like 70 grand in equity in it or something. No, I don't. Like, none of that stuff's true. But remember I told y'all before all this started, like, I pray the judge realizes that, like, I genuinely will tell the truth about every single thing no matter what. I don't think she thought that I was, and I absolutely really was. But it's whatever. Listen, he was rich the first time because of me, and now he's rich because of me again. And honestly, if that's the only thing I can hang my hat on, I'll take it. Because God knows, you know, my kid knows, and the general public absolutely knows. He tells me all the time people hate him in public. So, yeah, the Camaro. And I was going to sell the Camaro for my kids' college fund because that also got depleted. The accounts that got depleted with my kids' college fund are auto tithe. We had like an additional auto tithe that I auto withdrawed every 2 weeks, I think. No, every week, and then 2 weeks was $2,500. My kids' college fund, a trip for him to the Northern Lights, and my Paris birthday trip. But my girlfriend's paid for my Paris trip. Obviously, the Northern Lights bank account was emptied, and the trip, my kid's college fund. Like, how do you have 300 grand in your 401k and my kid ain't got but $4,000 in his college fund? Like, that's just gross. So it is what it is. At the end of the day, my son knows I will find a way. I'll get 70 jobs if I have to. I literally just applied today to be a taste tester at Buc-ee's for $1,000. Like, I have no pride, no ego, no shame. I'll do anything it takes as long as it does not take advantage of someone else. Other than that, I'll do whatever it takes. Like the song says. Everyone tells me that's like my theme song. Whatever it takes. And I know that God is going to reward me for this eventually. I don't know when, and it's not my job to figure out when. All I know is I have to be authentic and I have to stay on the earth. And sometimes, honestly, that part's hard. So, but I have to do it, because if I don't do it, then how do I tell you that you have to, you know? Thank God I have a kid. If I didn't have a kid, I probably would have thrown in the towel already. But I have a son, and I can't leave him alone on this planet. And we don't have family up here. My brothers live really far away. And he doesn't really have a relationship with his dad at all. So, I can't. He definitely has no relationship with my in-laws. So, I gotta stick around. So, that's what I'm gonna do. And at the end of the day, I want him to see my mom busted her ass. So, I'm in gemology school. I'm in AutoCAD school. I am starting 2 new businesses. I'm volunteering at my son's school twice a week. And I was able to buy him his dream car. So no matter what, like, we're going to be okay. I literally will I'll sell this weave. I'll sell everything in my house to make sure we're always okay. I don't have to worry about his car because as long as his dad keeps paying child support, it will always be paid for. And then when he graduates, hopefully I'll be in a better financial position. I can just pay it off and then send him off to college with that car. So, we'll see. Anyways, that's my life. As clear as day. I don't have anything to hide. I never have. It was just really hard to explain to a court, like, what's made us all this money to be able to even be standing here talking to you today was me being extremely transparent with my life. And honestly, I wish that was, like, a large portion of it, the story I just told you, but that is literally like a sprinkle. Sorry, my nose is running because I'm about to cry, but I'm not about to cry with this makeup because I have to go take selfies where I have good lighting. Can't stick this in my eye. I just stuck it up my nose. But I just really appreciate y'all. I say it all the time, and the reason I say that is because, like, I genuinely would not have gotten through this without so many people telling me like, girl, you're gonna be fine. And that's what I want to be for other people. Because can you imagine, like, if I didn't have the support group, like, oh my God, I would have just jumped off a bridge probably. Because number one, you think you're going nuts in your own house. And then number two, like, I mean, it's easy to think, especially if you have to read all that horrible stuff about yourself, which thank God I don't have to read it now, but, and then to know your husband's like involved with that stuff too, it like really fucks with your head. But luckily for me, like, I'm not mad that he's in a relationship. I like feel bad for the girl. But it's, again, I'm not the savior or a saver. It's not my problem. I cannot worry about things that do not concern me. And I cannot get upset about things that will not matter in 5 years. So, we're going to go take some pictures. We're going to put some cute ass... Oh, God, the website is so cute, too. I have so much to do on these 2 websites, too, but I don't care. I'm going to do it. And there'll be a couple kinks in the beginning, but everything else should work. I have to go find a business bank account. That's the other thing. Like, the bank wants to cut me off. And I'm like, I'm trying to do the right thing. Now's not the time. So... I have to pay a fortune. I know. And the thing is, the only thing you can do is do the right thing. Because if you don't, then it looks like you don't know what you're doing. And then if you do the right thing, like, you don't get an extra reward for then going and paying off all this debt, you know? Like, I don't get an extra later for that. Like, it is what it is. But to me, like, doing the right thing is absolutely priceless. That's the one thing my kid will tell you about his mom. She always does the right thing. So even... And actually, Ben used to tell my counselor that too. Like, even if it's to her detriment, Becca will always tell the truth. So, here I am. That's part of my truth. So, thank you all for being here. Whew, I'm not gonna cry. I've got to go take some cute outfit pictures and put this shit on my website. And I cannot wait for y'all to see August 26th. If you're going to be anywhere near Highland Village or Flower Mound, please come. 6 o'clock at the new Trophy Blooms location. It's at 2570 FM 407. I posted it on my stories. I pinned the Evite to the top of my Instagram. The new Instagram is busybecca's.closet because somehow the other one was taken. And the other Instagram to follow is busybecca and that's where the jewelry will be. So I'll explain that later. But the jewelry company is ohthat'slovely.com, and you sign up for emails on each different one. So ohthat'slovely.com is a completely different entity than Busy Becca's Closet. So the text message group, you have to sign up for both. You won't get a text message from Oh That's Lovely about Busy Becca's Closet and so on. So even like figuring out how to do that, like I didn't know. I had to like, I'm calling the comptroller every day saying, hey, am I doing this right? Like, I don't know. They know me by name now, so it's okay. They're very helpful. They're like, Becca, you applied twice. I was like, thanks. She's like, you need to file a stop order so you don't get charged twice. I'm like, well, at least we know I was thorough. So, and excited. But I just really appreciate y'all. I know it's just a screen to a lot of people, but to me, this has never been a screen. It has always been like my best friends in the world. People who are in my will, like, are people that I met on the internet. So I just can't say enough. Like, I appreciate you guys from the bottom of my heart. Like, that's lovely is the hashtag, and you may see her posting some stupid shit with the hashtags too, because she does that, but just please ignore it. We all know better, and eventually I'll be able to tell you my side of all the things that she says. But for right now, I got to focus on getting my paper back up, because unfortunately I don't sue people to make a living. So also, I'm not the first person she sued. She also sued the people she worked with before me, but we couldn't bring that up either. Yes, I will hopefully do denim again. That is my goal, but that takes a lot of money. How do I get all of that off the internet? I don't know, but I'm not concerned with it right now. Right now, it's like, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't, anybody who knows me knows it's not true, and anybody who doesn't know me, I don't care. And honestly, like, I could just take the group of people that I have and like make the living I want to. So I don't even care if new people come around. There's like 2,000 people in my inbox right now trying to be my friend on my personal Instagram. Like, I literally delete people constantly off my personal Instagram. That's why my number goes down like very slightly. If you don't have a profile picture, or if you have a weird name or whatever, or if you're following a couple certain bloggers and me, I delete you, because there's no reason you be following me. We're just like the people who are most talked about on the internet. So no. And I'm not even famous. That's the thing. Like, like, I'm not Courtney Shields. I'm not Laura Beverland. I don't even link shit I'm supposed to. And I could make a shit ton of money if I did. But like, I'm not even famous. So when that girl who went with me to the police station said she logs in and out and talks to herself, I was like, oh, it makes sense. So, okay, I can't wait to see you. You are so nice. I wish I could see all these messages. So if we shop, yes, it does all go to me now, 100%. Why did he go all of it? Why was it a split 50-50? I told you all of that. We'll talk about it another day. I didn't want to talk about it today, honestly. I literally got on here just to curl my hair, show you these extensions. We're supposed to post this video on TikTok afterwards, but now I'm going to have to, like, delete all of it or something. Fast forward me yapping my jaws. Anyways, I promise you it is on my agenda after life slows down, maybe, like, closer towards the holidays or something, to sit down and, like, go piece by piece. I think I'm going to do it on TikTok where I have, like, 10 minutes of time to talk about specific periods. Because, like, even the video I posted for my kid on his birthday, like, I'm looking at that video and I'm like, God, on that day, this is what was really going on. And on this day, like, I do want to go back and, like, go through all those days and explain all the shit that was going on. Especially because so many of y'all were like, I'm praying for you, when you thought I was crying about my dad, and I wasn't. I mean, I definitely was sad about my dad, but a lot of the times I was, like, so upset because, like, my dad just had a seizure in my house, and I just got an over the limit account or withdrawal or whatever it's called when it's, like, overdrawn, and I don't understand because I'm getting, like, a $40,000 paycheck, or why am I getting this huge paycheck when Chase is saying that they're not asking for those paychecks, or why didn't I have my own car for 7 months? Because you said that Chase said that I couldn't have a vehicle, but Chase did not say that, and then Chase ended up financing my vehicle that I bought while you were out of town. So those are all things that I, like, will address eventually. I told you there's a whole lot of layers, but going through all that, especially going through all that in front of you guys, it wasn't that it was embarrassing for me. It was that I felt like I couldn't tell you, and if I can't say it out loud, I feel like I'm lying, and I never wanted to feel like, and not only that, like, somebody's on the internet saying that I'm lying, and I'm not lying, and I don't give a shit what she says. That's like the 1% of it. I don't give a shit that she's saying that I'm lying or that he's joining her doing it. I care that it weighs on me, that I feel like I'm not being transparent, and I've been on the internet for 11 years, transparent. And so that's what I want to continue to do. So, oh, this just changed my eyeball color. There we go. Anyways, I just want to say thank you guys. Yes, my teeth need veneers, but, like, literally, look, okay, I can't afford it. I can't even get hand surgery right now. Actually, I can't even freaking do anything. So just let me get back to work and then we'll be fine. But I promise, if I'm able to do it again, not only will I do it right, I'll make sure that I help more people than I could have ever taken from. I promise you that. And I do think I did do that the first time around, but I will do it a million times over now because I understand how it feels, especially single moms or moms going through divorce. Really, I would love to be able, I'll tell you all about the charity thing later and how they screwed that up, like applying for an LLC. But anyways, that's the worst thing you can do if you're trying to open a charity. It has to be a nonprofit. But nonetheless, I used to want to open a charity, which they did open, but it wasn't ever a charity. And that would help, like, just regular moms if they just were going through a rough time. And I used to always say, like, I just want to help that mom that, like, maybe she just got laid off from her job, but she also just bought a brand new car last week and nobody wants to help her because they're like, oh, well, she just bought a car. I've told y'all that exact story, right? So it kind of sounds crazy, like I bought my kid this fancy ass car and I'm broke. Well, the money to pay for his car doesn't ever come from me or touch me or nothing. So I don't care. God, that smells so good. But it's funny, like, the person I wanted to help with my charity is the person I am right now. So I think it's like a full circle thing. Everything happens for a reason. Eventually, I would love for my charity to be able to help moms, stay-at-home moms, small business owners who are going through divorce be able to afford good legal counsel, because I was taken advantage of so bad because they knew there was a huge, I think we spent over $600,000 in legal fees. So I just would like to be able to help them, like, with good lawyers. And now I know really good lawyers, but that's for a different day. So I love you guys. I appreciate you all. Hi, Tanny B. Sorry I couldn't read all this. Oh, you are so nice. Follow Busy Becca Besties, and then you'll figure out about, oh, that's lovely, later on. Also, if you've already gotten your jewelry, did you look inside of it? That was a little surprise. So look inside your jewelry. You might see a little surprise in there. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go read the slides on the third post on my personal Instagram page right now. God, I've got to literally wash my hands. This is disgusting. Okay, I love y'all. Got to go get to work before the sun goes down. August 26th, the website's launch. Until then, 30% off on the Kiki Lura website. Go
cheap jewelry and use it on that. That's the best thing.